Daredevil, Born Again, Season 2, Episode 3. Um, I don't remember the name of the episode. I'll admit, after covering the previous episode, Episode 2, they were dropping 2 and 3 back to back on the same day, and I just got caught up on Episode 3. I will admit that this episode is a little bit better. And as I'll still stand by the fact that I believe that the scenes with Kingpin and Daredevil are still pretty solid. Um, the storyline between them is something that I get behind. Now, I do think it's, a season and a half, or rather, a season and 3 episodes too late to finally get Daredevil to at least address the issue of Catholic guilt and how murdering is not the answer. In spite of the fact that it seems like everywhere Daredevil goes, if he's not getting the shit kicked out of him by the anti-vigilante task force, he is almost killing them. But you could say the same thing about all the people he beats up in the Netflix show too. So I digress. He just beats the shit out of everybody. But essentially, him finally saying, just being consistent with the character about how murder is not how you win this. Karen Page is getting a little bit too Punisher-y, and she's like, we should probably start thinking about, if not the agents, then at least Wilson Fisk. And we have a little bit of debate there, but nothing really gets resolved or find any common ground. So hopefully that has a payoff. And the rest of the episode, Kirsten McDuffie, I finally said her name on camera. Kirsten McDuffie has a storyline where she is trying to defend Jacques Duquesne, aka the Swordsman. Shout out Shadiversary. There are a lot of swords in this episode, a lot of sword stuff. But that trial ends up having Kirsten McDuffie lose the trial because it's a rigged trial. They had a tribunal where there was 3 judges, 2 were male with the female in the center, because I know what Disney's like and I know what they're trying to tell me. Same thing with having Daredevil cheer on Kirsten McDuffie and not have Daredevil be a lawyer in this season, but it's whatever. The allegories are nonstop, trying to compare vigilantes and superheroes to fucking immigrants or something. Or minorities. This isn't X-Men. You could have put X-Men in this show and it would have made more sense, but this isn't X-Men. So the allegories fall flat for me, and the storytelling becomes boring. The only good part about this episode is the very ending, where Daredevil uses Kirsten McDuffie's you could say experience. She was taken to the Anti-Vigilante Task Force compound where they were holding all of the people that they detained. And she went there to discuss matters with her client, Swordsman, right? And Daredevil uses her senses because they put goggles on her so she can't see when she goes into the compound. And Daredevil's like, well, I can't see either, so that works for me. So using, I guess, context clues and hints that she gives him, he ends up finding the place and freeing all the people that are trapped there. Apparently only a handful of vigilantes and more civilians than that. The only vigilante I saw was Swordsman. And to be fair, I have limited knowledge on Swordsman, both in the comics and in the MCU, because I didn't watch Hawkeye, and I barely got through the first episode of Echo. But I was under the impression that Swordsman was more anti-hero than anything. He wasn't quite a vigilante per se, as much as he was almost a criminal. I could have swore he was part of like the Masters of Evil or something, but I digress. I could be wrong. It's whatever. They can adapt however they feel in regards to that character. I do know that he was Hawkeye's mentor in the comics, but I don't know if that necessarily means that he was in the TV show. I don't really fucking care. I didn't watch it. But it seemed like Daredevil and Swordsman were the only 2 that were actually vigilantes, and they were taking out the anti-vigilante task force in a pretty cool fight scene. So I'll say, I like that fight scene. Karen Page was there to help navigate recon, and out of nowhere, a wild chihuahua. I mean, Angela Del Toro shows up, and she helps them because somebody has to help. Whatever. She was going to let teenagers steal from a convenience store. She's not a hero. She is an angry teenager that is protesting, like all angry teenagers protesting at No Kings rallies and BLM rallies and all the other shit. So that's all she is. She ain't a hero. She's just a angry minstrel chihuahua. And so she's wearing her uncle's hand-me-downs as she slashes tires and tries to help rescue all the civilians from the anti-vigilante task force. Yeah, that scene was cringe, but whatever. And then the episode ends with the Northern Star, the boat where Daredevil was, finding arms on, blowing up so that Kingpin could blame it on the vigilantes and continue his thing. That feels more like the Netflix show. That moment right there felt like, oh, that was the end of the episode. Now, that's a nice cliffhanger to the next episode, and it kind of does this back and forth game of cat and mouse with Daredevil and Kingpin. He's one step ahead, and Daredevil's got to continue to fight back. I actually didn't mind that. I liked how that ended, and I liked that fight scene. But everything before that I thought was fucking trash. I don't like any of the scenes with Heather Glenn or Kirsten McDuffie or even James Gandolfini's son. I don't really like any of those characters. I don't like Buck Cashman. I think he's a step down from the guy from season 1. I can't remember his name. I want to say Stanley. It was like Stanley or something. He was the guy that Karen Page shot, but he was great. Buck Cashman is a step down from him. Wesley. It was Wesley. And I'm trying to think about what else. Oh, there was another appearance from Kingpin by Doomcock, the Doomcock Kingpin appearance. So it's like I've been saying, there's a good show underneath here if they tried, but they can't help themselves but add characters that don't matter, don't make sense, and have no consistency in the show whatsoever. The parts with Matt Murdock, for the most part, are good. I say for the most part because having him not address his Catholic guilt and whether or not the morality of this situation is basically, that's an assassination of his character to just be like, yeah, we got to kill all the anti-vigilante task force agents, but it's okay if they die. I don't really care. Like, I don't like that shit. Kingpin getting cucked while we consistently try and focus on the mental health issues of Vanessa Fisk. I think that's dumb. And anything with Kirsten McDuffie, Angela Del Toro, Cherry, James Gandolfini's son, Kirsten McDuffie, if I already said her, Heather Glenn, all those characters I don't give a fuck about. I'm just saying, I don't care about them. But everything else is like decent. It's decent. It's not great. It's not the greatest thing ever. It's not even close. Can't hold a candle to the Netflix show. But at the very least, I was engaged enough to pay attention. I damn near fell asleep a handful of times, though. But I will say that this episode was far better, probably because they knew that the last episode was shit. But nonetheless, we're going to continue this bullshit, and I'm going to continue making videos on it. So let me know what y'all think in the comments down below, and I will see y'all in another video. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see y'all for episode 4. Fuck Disney.